Hello. Welcome to Fallawsophy. I'm your host, Jennifer Fallaw, and tonight we're going to do another exercise on our road to God-centered conscious creation. And this is going to be the forgiveness exercise. And then later we're going to do some reading, so please hold off on your Rumble rants. And remember there until I tell you, so that it doesn't disappear. Remember that there is a $10 minimum for the Rumble rants if you want to push ahead of the line, so that I can get to some free questions as well. Sorry, I was coughing before the show went on, so I'm trying to swallow a little bit. So we've been spending a lot of time working on becoming a powerhouse of high vibrational energy, getting closer to what we truly are, and to function as a soul here, like we do in heaven, to learn to consciously create quicker and more efficiently. And in order to do that, if we need to bring a large concentration of that high vibrational God's light of creation into our bodies, into our energy field. And so over time, so that we can fill up all the space that we have, we've been learning to get rid of the dark bubbles that hold a lot of negative energy in our energy field, because it takes up a lot of space and we don't need that anymore. Okay? So we've been learning all these exercises, and if you're just joining me now, you can scroll back on the videos on this channel and learn all of those. There's quite a few. So we've been learning to be grateful. We've been working on seeing things from a different perspective, and really digging into some of those dark bubbles of dark energy and transfusion of that, changing that into a space where we hold light instead of darkness. One thing that's really hard to do is to get rid of those bubbles where maybe we did something wrong. The bubbles of regret. The really, really, really hard ones to crack, where we have to forgive somebody. And forgiveness is hard. It's not easy. Because as human beings, we think that when we forgive somebody, we're saying what you did didn't hurt me and what you did was okay. And you're off the hook now. And some of us, Christians, we love to do this, so we'll forgive people. But then we'll take that and carry it with us. Not allowing ourselves to be free from it. And so those can become some of the biggest dark bubbles in your energy field that just never go away. We've been working really hard on letting go of things that happen to us. And most people here are pretty good people, okay? If you're listening to me right now, you're just like on this, path of, self-development, and some of you have been on that path for a long time. Some of you are very loving, giving. Some of you are givers. Well, most of you are givers. Or you wouldn't even think this way. Ready to set out on a path where you will have the abundance to do humanitarian projects and give more. Okay? But there are times when we did some things that maybe we can't forgive ourselves for. And sometimes we'll hold on to things that that there's no reason to hold on to. There's no reason to feel that way about yourself. I mean, it wasn't even your fault, or, it's not your fault that you had to break up with somebody and it broke their heart and they went in a terrible direction. That was their choice to go in that direction. You just followed your heart, okay? That happens. Sometimes we go through times in our lives like people will have addictions. I hear it all the time. Kids end up living with other parents. And they eventually get recovered, but they can't let go of this dark bubble that says you failed them. Even though they've recovered and they've tried to make amends, and it just always seems to be there. And then sometimes the kids, they'll make sure you got that dark bubble because that was screwed up. All right, I've got my own dark bubbles from that. Okay, so what do we do then? How do we get rid of that? Once again, I think, what did I call it before? Transmutation. We're gonna alchemize that. We're gonna flip it around. Okay, we're gonna make sure we're gonna give ourselves forgiveness and understand that just like a child learns a lesson in school. I mean, do you walk up to your children and pull out the test from like 10 years ago that they failed in school that you got so mad about, that was really important, and just tell them, how stupid they are again? Now, if you're doing that, you need mental help. Okay? Seek it. But no, we don't do that. We don't do that. But sometimes our reaction to them failing is what creates this bubble. That memory, the time we acted wrong, the time we caused harm, the time when we weren't evolved enough to know how to react and we reacted hastily and we caused a problem, okay? There's many of them in our energy field. And so what we need to learn how to truly forgive. And what forgiveness is. I learned this a long time ago. When I was trying to forgive the man, my husband was killed by a drunk driver in 2007. Although the man didn't mean to do it, his actions led to that, and we suffered forever. And it just felt like he just got to go off with his life, have kids, and do whatever he wanted. And we were left holding the bag. And although I've never been one, I never wished any harm on him. Even then, it's just not in my nature. Retaliation, hoping they suffer. I've never been like that. It just can't bring myself to do it. I try to find understanding in the time and work through it. Okay? And then give it to God. Because something deep inside me knows that evil villain wins if I become him. And I will not become him. Okay, so maybe he wasn't evil. He was an evil villain. Okay, but there's many other stories of where he did people really wrong and then was supposed to pay. I never asked for a thing. Okay, but the courts told him he had to pay child support because he took their dad. Or they offered it. And so I'm like, I'll take it. And for a while, I was thankful for it. It was helping me forgive the man. But as soon as he was off of supervised probation, it stopped. And there were many times when I needed that. So I had to come to a place of forgiveness. Understand that his karma will catch up with him, and it always does. And put it in God's hands, okay? But the problem I had with it was I cannot bring myself to say that what you did was okay. If it was just me personally, probably. But you hurt my babies forever. And how do you forgive that? Well, it's hard. You have to get to a place where you understand that holding on to this grudge, holding on to this anger and hate can fester inside you. It corrupts you more. He has no idea what I'm doing over here. That's his, to forgive himself for what he did is his job. But I had so much to carry. I had to learn how to let that go enough that it wasn't a heavy burden on me. So Jesus helped me with that. I'm never going to forget it. They're never going to forget it. He's never going to forget it. But I can move on from it. I can teach and show them how to move on from it. And above all, that man does not deserve the honor of being connected to us forever. Okay? So that was a hard one. So I worked through that with Jesus in meditation. And I couldn't do it. I mean, it took me so long. I couldn't do it. I'm like, I cannot say the words. Picture them in front of you and say, I forgive you. And I always say something, I forget, but I'll never forget. So I'm not really forgiving him. It took a long time. So, Jesus told me a story. And that's when it finally hit me. And here's the story. And I'm going to give you an exercise. Of course, I'm giving you an exercise. But, so he showed me a little girl. He showed me walking alongside this little girl. Just watching. Hang on, I'm trying to figure out if the cat's in the room or outside of the room. I think he's outside. He's trying to get in. All right. So this is the forgiveness story. And then we will go into the forgiveness exercise. If you guys would like it clean, you can start here if you'd like a clean clip. So there's a little girl who's walking along throughout her life. And every time someone told her she was pretty or that she did something right, they handed her a flower. And on her back, she wore a backpack. And so in the beginning of her life, there were lots of flowers because she was a cute little girl. And so people would hand her flowers and she'd put them in the backpack and she was happy and she was free and she was playing. And then along her path, the storms came and Jesus was still there. And he watched while some people handed her rocks. They said and did things that hurt. And they handed her a rock of different sizes. And every time they did, she put the rock in her backpack. And as life went on, she still received many flowers. But there were far too many rocks. And over time, the rocks crushed the flowers. She couldn't smell them anymore. And as many flowers as she was given, there was just so many rocks, and they just became crushed under the weight of the rocks. It's too much. And as she became an adult and went through her life, the backpack became very heavy. And that's when I saw Jesus behind her, pulling up on this backpack and helping her walk, until such time as the pack became so heavy that she fell down and could not continue forward. And that's when Jesus spoke. And he said to her, "Why don't you let me help you remove some of those rocks from your pack?" And she said, "But they've become part of who I am. I don't know if I can let them go." And so he said, let's go through them together. And so he helped her take the backpack off. And they sat and reminisced as he pulled the smashed flowers out. He pulled the flowers out first, several, and showed them to her, and to remind her that there was kindness, and there was love, and there was happiness. And reminded her that there are many flowers in your backpack. You've just forgotten that they're there. And so rock by rock, they sat down and remembered, and they found that the rocks were painted. They had names on them. And under the names, there were things written that she learned along the way. I forgot this part. She learned along the way to hand out rocks instead of flowers, because so many people had given her rocks that she became irritated at the weight. And sometimes she even threw rocks at others. And so these rocks had names on them. And what was done to her was written on the rock underneath. Or what she had done to somebody else was written on. He's in here. Charles, telling a story, Charles. You got to go. Do not come in here. So, all right. So they decided, Jesus said, "Come over here with me to the side of this road. And we're going to let these rocks go once and for all." So this is what they did. With each rock that he pulled out, there was a name on it. And he showed her that that person was not even thinking about this rock and that was done and what was done anymore. The things that they did to her, the things that she did to them. And there were dates on the rock. And he told her, this is so long ago. Do you think that you can forgive them? And she said, yeah. Do you think you can forgive yourself? Yeah. Well, then we can put this rock over here. And rock after rock, they made a pile. They made a shrine to her pain. Like an old-fashioned grave marker. And they pulled them all out. And they left them there. And then Jesus grew some flowers next to the shrine. And he asked her, he said, now that you have let go of this, pick your flowers and put them on top of the pile. Give it love. And turn these rocks into what it should be. A testament to your strength, a monument that you have conquered these things And we're going to leave it here on the side of your path. And we're going to put the flowers on top to know that we're done with this. That you have conquered it. You gave it love. And now that we've pulled them out of the pack, he fluffed up all the flowers that she had been given throughout her life in the pack, and she could smell them again. And he picked some new flowers and put it in there. And she put the backpack on. And then he said, now, will you walk with me? And he took her hand. And they continued on the path and left the pile of rocks there. So you see, forgiveness is not just for them. In truth, it's for you. It's an exercise in letting it go. Not because it didn't hurt, it didn't hurt, not because it wasn't important, not because of any of that, but because you've conquered that now. But because you choose to walk forward, free from it now. And now you have all this room in your pack for flowers. And your back is so much lighter. And your steps are so much lighter. So when he told me this story, and it wasn't, I kind of elaborated there, but he told me this story. I got it. I'm like, this is a personal choice of mine. That all these people and all these situations and all this pain, I don't have to hold on to it. It's still part of my journey. But it's going to be okay for me just to leave it there on the side of the road where it belongs. Because I need to move forward now. Okay? So this is the exercise. A bit of repeat here, but this is what I want you, and my phone won't open up. All right. Clean feed. This is the forgiveness exercise. So what I want you to do, this is going to be a meditation. For those of you who don't know how to meditate, it's just a visualization. We want to put earbuds in. No distractions, nobody around. So you don't feel weird because somebody's watching you. Okay? Close your eyes, sit up, or you'll fall asleep. We want to listen to melodic music. Music that makes you feel relaxed. Music that makes you feel heavenly. Okay? And we don't want any big crescendos or bangs or chirping birds. Water running is really not a good idea. It makes you want to go pee and you have to get up. All right? Anything that's just really going to take you into a very peaceful place. And listen to that. It drowns out the sounds of the room. It does a lot. Okay? And if you have trouble meditating, this is what I tell my students. Visualizing. It's just as simple as remembering the memory of one of these dark bubbles. You would play it over and over in your head all the time. You plan out your day and you can visually see what you're going to do that day. It's the same thing. Don't worry about real or not. This is just a visualization in your mind. We're going to go to our golden path where I told you to be, okay? We're on our golden path. Everybody should be every morning looking over at God in the driver's seat and say, are we still on the golden path? I do. And he'll say, yes, we're still on the, okay. So we're going to be on our golden path because this is the time that we need to do it. When you step onto the golden path, you cannot be carrying a heavy pack. We got to let it go. Okay? So we're on our golden path. Jesus is there. You Jewish people, you want to put God there? Fine. Doesn't matter. So what we're going to do, let's see what I wrote down before I screw it up here. Okay, here we go. So we're going to be walking on this golden path with Jesus, or God. We're going to stop. And we're going to tell him, I don't think I can go forward much more because my backpack's too heavy. We need to clean it out. And I want you to take your backpack off, go over to the side of the road, and sit down with him. And that's what you're going to do. Is you're going to take these rocks out one by one. Start with flowers if you want. Remember some happy times. We're not going to immerse ourselves in the pain and the suffering and all the details of the situation. We're going to pull these rocks out, and you know what they are. And we're going to see the name on there and what happened to us. The ones, we're going to pull the rocks out first from what other people did to us, because that's easier. And then we're going to say, I thought I wanted to add something to it. We're going to say, I forgive them. You're going to tell Jesus this. I forgive them. And I forgive me. Because I know I learned from the experience. And we're going to take that rock and we're going to start making a pile. Just like he did with the little girl. And when you get done with those rocks, we're going to pull out the rocks where we did something to somebody else. Because most of you humanitarians, those are the biggest. Those are the hardest. And we're going to accept that, yes, I was young, or I was stupid, or I was naive, or I was, or I retaliated and I hurt them on purpose. I locked my sister in the closet, told my mother I didn't know where she was, something like that. All right? Something that caused somebody trauma. And we're going to ask first for forgiveness. Just so that you can forgive yourself. We're going to ask God or Jesus, will you forgive me for what I did here? And they're going to say, yes, I do. And he's going to ask you, do you forgive yourself for what you did there? And you're going to say, yes, I do. And we're going to put the rock on the pile. Okay? If you can't do that without telling that person that you harmed, even if they're alive or they're dead, then we're going to call them in. Their soul. We're just going to ask them to walk up, and we're going to say, will you forgive me for when I locked you in the closet and I told Mom that you weren't there? I never did that. I'm just making it up. Call your sister in, call your brother in, call your spouse, your ex in, call whatever in, your child when like I had to go, take a minute to explain to them, I didn't mean to do that to you. I'm sorry. Will you forgive me? Ask their soul for forgiveness. They don't even have to be there if that's what you need to do. But what we need to do is get that rock on the pile. Okay? Forever how long you want to do this, day after day after day, you can. You can. It's all up to you. So we're going to put these rocks on the pile. And then we're going to pick some flowers when we're done. And we're going to lay them on top of the pile. We're going to fill that pile with love. We're going to say, this is a pile of my lessons now. And I'm going to leave it here. Okay? Now, if you're having trouble seeing, I didn't finish this thought earlier. If you're having trouble seeing in meditation, this is what I teach my students. I want you to make yourself an audio. Don't worry if it sounds stupid. I always feel stupid making myself a guided meditation. If I have to read a script for anything, I feel stupid. Like I'm not an actress. I like have to ad-lib everything. So like, just make an audio for yourself. Read your notes, tell yourself what to do and when. Leave some spaces in there for you to do it, but you can make your own guided meditation. Okay? If that helps you see better. With my students, it does. It helps them see better, because when they tell me I haven't been able to see in meditation, then I walk them through it, a short meditation, tell them what to see, and they can see it. So if you make that audio for yourself, it's much easier to do this. But you will notice that when you do this, if you're ever reminded of any of these rocks that used to be there, phantom pains of the weight of the pack, just remind yourself, I've already taken care of that. It's where it needs to be. And then take God's hand and take Jesus' hand and continue on your golden path. And stop taking rocks from people after that. It's like isn't it funny how the biggest of givers and the most loving hearts will accept so much harsh treatment, so much disrespect. We'll just keep throwing rocks in the backpack. Well, maybe someday they'll give me a flower. Just wait for the day I'm presented with a flower. Why do we do that? Because so here's the, don't think about yourself. Think of others first. Oh, don't worry about all those rocks back there and the cart I'm pulling behind me with the overflow. Don't worry about that. I haven't given up on them yet. I'm sure any day now. I'll be presented with a whole bunch of flowers and everything will be okay. We really have to stop doing that for our own good. It does not mean that we start throwing rocks at others. That's not helping you. Every rock you throw at someone else, that rock shows up in your backpack. So we don't do that. If you really want to be free, you got to walk the walk, you got to talk the talk, you got to live it. Okay? But we don't have to be doormats. We don't have to keep waiting around for someone to finally be good to us. Well, I'm sorry, I hit you with about 300 rocks. But here's a little flower. Why don't you take this? And then later I'm going to hit you with 3 more rocks. It's like, all right, dude. I'm done with that. Okay? I'm sure there's somebody out there who's got flowers. It also builds our perception of ourselves, our self-esteem. When you've got too many rocks in the pack and not enough flowers. Okay? Men, just use the flower. Okay? We don't need to make something for men because, I don't want flowers in my backpack because I'm a man. All right, just put food in there or something. Fruit. Do fruit. Okay? But we want to keep in our mind, we want to let go of the rocks and remember the flowers. Okay? When we're done with something. In the past, when we look at the past, sometimes it's just so painful to even have any kind of memories. You avoid songs, you avoid places, you avoid, oh my God, I can't go there because I was with the ex when I went there. I got another exercise for that I've been doing. Let's do that one too. Okay, well, bonus exercise. All right, bonus exercise because this one's fun. I've been doing this. So we were together for 11 years. Raised my children up here. I lived here before he came into my life. Yeah, I suffered a lot of trauma up here since I moved up from California. I mean, the husband died, the whole widowed thing, going out with other loser, narcissistic people. Then I stayed alone for a really long time. And then Brett came into my life, and then, I thought it was my big reward for staying sober and a good mom and doing everything right and just write books and try to do everything. Oh, God. And everything was great for like 8.5 years, and it all fell apart. I'm not going to trash him on the air, but, that's private. But there's certain places like my favorite lakes that we would go to all the time, and I'm like, ugh, I don't know, should I go there? Is that going to be hard? And then I hear the kids saying things like that. Oh, we can't go there because that's where we went with Brad or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? This is my life now. This is my home now. These are places that I love, not because of him, but because of their beauty. I'm going to walk in there with my Jen flag. Just like, and claim my frickin' territory and slam it into the ground and say, I don't care who I came here with before. This is clean now, and this is mine. This is a new chapter. And in this chapter, my flag is planted on top of the hill. Let's do that. So that's what I've been doing in my mind. Restaurants, in my mind, or in your mind, just picture yourself. If you're having trouble with that, just picture yourself. You know what? So, create your little flag. Jen flag. Mine's blue. Of course it's blue. And just picture yourself like on top of the restaurant or in the seat where you used to sit or whatever, and just plant that damn thing right on top of the restaurant. Plant it on the freaking hillside. Plant your flag wherever you go and claim it back as your happy place. And he does not get to own that. He does not get to take that from me, too. It's a good girl power exercise, ladies, but try that. So you make it any way you want it. Any way you want it. I did it with the house. Claim your space. Get rid of your rocks. This is one way we can let the past go, and we can be lighter, and we can be free. Because the truth of the matter is, and I say this all the time, every moment that has gone before now is gone. It no longer exists. Who are you now? Where are you now? How much does it matter now? It doesn't. All we're doing with carrying these rocks, or all we're doing with avoiding these places, is harming ourselves over and over again. And when Jesus taught me that, I understood. The only one that's keeping these rocks in your backpack is you. And they don't have to be there. And that's what forgiveness is about. It's an opportunity. In the Christian religion, we go and ask for, Catholics, we go and we ask for forgiveness. God, will you forgive me for all my terrible sins and everything I've done wrong and everything? And yes, we will. But we don't forgive ourselves. So it's pointless. And who are we really? It's you and God on attorney. In your car, remember? In your vehicle. What you do to yourself, you do to him as well. And he deserves to be free from it. You deserve to be free from it. It's in the past. You've done the mind work. You've mourned the loss. You've suffered. Doesn't have to be there anymore. And if we want to move to a place where we are light and we are free and we are radiating love and we are conscious creating, then we can't keep carrying this heavy backpack. We have to get rid of these dark bubbles. At least acknowledge that this dark bubble here, I worked through that. I have now turned this into a lesson that I conquered, one that I learned, one that I'm done with. So now this is a bubble of knowledge. And what would a bubble of knowledge look like? Light. It would be full of wisdom and light. Let's do that. Okay. And the benefit for those who are just joining us of pulling more high vibrational energy into your energy field, into your body, which is the center of your energy field, is that when you focus your positive intentions on something, you will create it fast. And the more light, the more power you have inside of you, the faster you'll create it. Now, you're going to have to be careful. Because I've noticed some things with myself. I have to be careful what I think about. Especially I wonder what it would be like. Thoughts. Because then I'm seeing things in my reality that teach me what it would be like. Okay, so let's keep it positive. You don't have to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. You are an emotional being. We need to find a balance, just like they say, between our yin and our yang, between our masculine and our feminine within ourselves. Okay? That is emotion and intellect. That is knowledge and experience. There's a duality to everything in our universe, in all of creation. If you are out of balance with that, your creation is going to be weird. If you are mostly intellect and taught yourself to be that way, and you're really like an emotional person inside, that's going against your nature. You're going to see a whole bunch of bad things happen in your life. So let's say, you went through school and you've taught to be a businesswoman and that's where you got your identity and your self-worth and everything else. And I have to succeed at this and I have to make the money. And now you've got these goals about how much money you want to make and everything where you would go. And you've started to become cold. And I can't let this emotion holds me back because I have to be this way at work. Okay, well, if you can't shift emotional intelligence, you need to, there's one way to be at home. There's one way to be at work. There's one way to be with the kids. There are different parts of you. Let's bring them all into balance and give them all the attention they need. Okay? So, if you're too emotional and you're not thinking, and you're explosive or crying all the time, or you just cannot even, handle anything, and then what you'll find is bad things will start happening in your life. People won't want to be around you. It's kind of hard. Okay? You'll hold on to all these rocks. So we need to find a balance within that. Yes, at home, I should be more loving. Okay? I'm not going to let go. So there's a scale that goes on with the emotion and the intellect. All right? But if you're all one and not the other, you're going to have problems. And then you're going to be like, well, I've done so well in life. Why aren't things happening the way I want it? Why is everybody being mean to me? Why is everyone leaving me? I've done exceptional. I mean, I provided everything for all these people and they're so ungrateful. Well, you know what? Oh, they want your emotion. They want to feel you there, not just see you there. Okay? If you're too emotional and you haven't you're not logical, you're not making the right decisions for the family. Okay, well, things are going to be out of balance as well. Bad things are going to happen as well. So, it's going to benefit your life to get rid of the trash that doesn't need to be there. To balance the masculine and the feminine, to balance the yin and yang within you. Know when to act when. I mean, isn't that the first thing we learn when we're growing up? Okay, you can get away with this at school, but not at home, but not at school, or not at work. You have to act this way at work. You have to act this way at home. You have to act this way at school. There's a reason for that. At home, yes, people want you to be responsible, but if you're not giving out love to the people who chose to love you, they're going to leave. At work, if you're too emotional and you're not performing and doing what you signed up to do, you're going to get fired. If you're managing people and all you care about is the profit, all you care about are the numbers, yeah, you're going to get the numbers, but it's going to be hard to keep employees. So, mostly intellect at work, a little bit of emotion. You have to understand that you're dealing with people, stuff happens, and you need to know how to size a person up, speak to them in a way that registers with them so they understand what you want from them and what they need to do. That's what I've always done. It works. At home, you're going to want to be more emotional. In relationships, you're going to want to be more emotional. It is not a weakness, it is a strength to be balanced. All right, so we got done with that. What time is it? I can't even see that. I gotta get new glasses. Yeah, almost an hour. So forgiveness is a gift for you. Yes, it is also a gift when you tell somebody that you forgive them for what they did to you, because it allows them to forgive themselves and move forward as well. To learn that lesson and move forward from it. And that's what everybody needs. Okay, but another thing I want to say, I see this a lot, and you all lie to me about it, but I know what you're doing. So, in the readings, so what people will do is they've got a real sneaky way of asking me questions about the ex, about what's happening, are they going to get married, about whatever's going on in their life, about really happened, did they cheat on me, all this stuff. They're still attached to this person. This person still controls their mind and their decisions in their life and their emotions. And sometimes when they don't let these things go, they don't let the rocks go, they don't move on, they don't learn the lessons, they feel so completely overwhelmed and controlled by this person, they will choose to see that person in everybody else. We don't want to, but then they become angry and hateful themselves. They become that person. Or the harsh version of that person that did those things to them. And that is failure. We don't do that. Life in Arizona, I forgive you for ignoring me tonight. I forgive you for interrupting the lessons. Go and sit down until we're done. And then you can talk. Okay. It's hot as hell in here. So So what we don't want to do is stay centered in revenge. I must avenge myself for the wrongs that they did to me. No, you don't. You know why? Because somebody else is going to come along and do the same damn thing to them. Sooner or later, it's going to happen. Especially if you take your hands off of it. So we don't want to stay focused in revenge and retaliation. If you have to fight a fight, fight the fight. But don't continue to look for reasons to fight the fight and in some sick way still stays connected to this person. Let it go. Cut the cord. Let it go. Get rid of the rocks. Clean out the bubbles. This is your life and your future. And what that looks like is going to depend on how you create it. And if you stay centered in all those dark, low vibrational things, you're going to create a situation where you experience the same damn thing because you did not learn from it. Sometimes people come into your life and they do things like that to you to elevate you. It's a catalyst. Some people call it a karmic situation. And that doesn't mean that it's because you deserved it. No, it means because that person said, well, it's like I said before, like you've got some friend at home and they're like, well, I'm going to need somebody to come in here and break my heart into a million pieces and just jump on it for like 10 years. And, so it forces me to reach for something better or to reach for a better version of myself or to overcome that and to rise, to completely burn to dust and rise like a phoenix from the ashes. That's what we need to do sometimes, especially with this kind of thing. We're not just trying to be, well-adapted, nice people. We're going out there to show the world what heaven on earth looks like. That's going to be hard sometimes. But I'm pretty sure most of you have already been through the worst if you're watching me right now. So what we need to do is get rid of it and start creating the best. Okay? All right. Marcy, here we go. And who's in there? Scott in there? It's pretty late for Scott. Okay. So you can do your Rumble rants. You can ask your questions. I will open this up and get to the chat. $10 minimum, please. Bonus. Yeah, bonus exercise with the flag. In your mind, that's what I've been doing. And not that I'm like controlling or anything, because I'm really not. I don't like to control people. It makes me feel like ill inside. But I don't like to be controlled. So like I really rebel against being controlled. I like the balance. I like the partnership. I always have. But I've been running around in my mind, every time I have that thought, like, oh, I can't go out to dinner there. Or I can't go to the lake over there because that's where we used to put the boat in the water. Or that's where we used to go. And blah, 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 blah. You know what? Slam that flag down after that. Beach, this is mine now. Claim it. Claim it. Okay. What do we got? Let's see. The original Patriot Ranger, $20 Rumble Run. Thank you. Hi, Robert here. My wife Cindy would like to know if her mother, Dorothy Kettle, has a message for her, and if possible, her grandchildren would like to know the same. Somebody sings one of the grandchildren sing. I don't know if it's in their room, but she loves it. It's a little one. I don't know. Maybe it was when she was little, or she's reminding you of that, but she's talking about, I do think it might be a girl, sings in her room. She misses you all, and she loves you. Oh, she's talking about your wife, Cindy. She goes, I love you, baby. I miss my baby. Aw. Grandma. Excuse the voice, I've been talking all day long. Okay. Scott, 1484, what house does Jesus want me to have? Whichever one you choose. 3000 North Road or Sandbar Road. Jesus. Jesus really likes Sandbar. I think he'd be happiest there. All right. Okay, did that. I'm sorry, I don't know why. So what I have to do is I have to go over to Rumble and start up the show, and then go over to StreamYard, my streaming service, and do it there too. So somehow, when I have the place, maybe it's the template I'm using, but I have this placeholder video, which is the intro, and it'll play over and over and over and over again until I get on. So that's why I only do it like a half hour before the show, because I need to give people time to know that it's on. But everybody's asking, does anybody know when she's on? I post the notifications of when I'm going to be on and what time on banner Fallawsophy on Telegram. Here. You want to go there. You want to follow my channel. That's where I'm at most of the time. I'm really not on Facebook anymore. I'm really not anywhere else. Okay, we've got 2 Rumble rants. Anybody else? Questions? Anybody have any questions? I think everybody who just got home from work. D. Cox, 1254. Hi, Jen. This is Denise. This is my mom, Rosemary. Have a message for me. A lot of mediumship lately. And you guys, really having, Susan Gretz do the mediumship for me. For the private readings. That's why I don't offer it on the website. But just a quick check-in is fine. I assume it's Denise Cox. Mother is Rosemary. Call her in. You guys, if you don't have a specific question, most of the time the spirits just say, I love you. I mean, that's the number one thing they want to say. I said, is there anything important that she needs to know right now? And she said, you're safe. Okay. Hang on a second. Let me text the children to stop yelling in the hallway at the dog. Never been a quiet house. Okay. Doesn't faze me a bit, but it doesn't sound good on me. Okay. We have this shepherd that just attacks everybody as soon as they get home, like really bad. Really bad. And my youngest daughter, well, both the daughters get mad after a while because he ends up hurting them in some way or making them drop things. It's just, I don't know. Anyway, Mo Tax Lady, $10. I don't have a rant. I have a question. Well, that is a rant. I listened to something disturbing last night and now question whether I'm saved or not. Please ask Jesus if I'm saved. Here's how you solve that. All right. Let's stick our flag in that. Screw that disturbing crap. If it makes you feel disturbed, stop watching it. All you have to do in your mind is say, Jesus, will you forgive me for absolutely everything in my life? And will you be my buddy? And will you be with me every moment of every day and help me be a better person? And am I saved? Yes, I will. Absolutely. Will you protect me forever? I reject all evil. Will you protect me all the time? Yes, I will. Problem solved. RCR 13Q. Rosalie here. My daughter Michelle met Javier. Do you see them in a long-term relationship? Well, that's not really our business, but I'm not sure. There's potential there. It's a little bit low vibrational. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I don't want her to not trust him because of what I said, but just be careful with him, okay? Ask more questions. Is what I'm saying. Joe, who's in the room? I'm doing a live. I have no privacy at all. Okay. Doesn't matter if I'm sleeping, on a live, in the bathroom. Doesn't matter. All right, here we go. Joe 76002, $10. 3 orbs appeared 20 feet above my head in downtown Sedona, Arizona during my visit. Oh, yeah. You know what? I really don't get into the whole orb thing. I mean, I am the worst person for years. People have been sending me videos and pictures and emails. Just happened a lot more when I had the free group on Facebook, and most of it's just dust, water droplets, those actually, yeah. Yeah, I could feel that. They weren't aliens, they were spirits. A lot of spirit activity in Sedona because of all the vortexes there. There wasn't a message. You just happened to see them. Okay. I think they just went up and over you because you were in the way. All right. All right, Lucy C., ask your question again. I see you're having a problem in there and complaining that you don't have money to send. You don't have to send money, but you do have to ask a complete question. Montana Treasures, hi. My mother's Mary had a vivid dream if her brother Steve entered her apartment and looked down to her ottoman and a bunny popped out. So this is what happened there. So your brother comes in the apartment in your dream and you create a dream state. He's trying to get to her to have a visitation. And usually they're very short. Why? Because you create with thought. And if you don't believe me about your reality, take a look at your dreams. So when you're unconscious, your thoughts one thought to another, one thought to another. And as soon as something happens, you create something else. So he enters the scene trying to talk to her. Her mind goes, oh, this is odd. Why is he here? And then something weird happens, like a bunny pops out of the ottoman. It's random. So there was no real message there. It was just kind of like a failed visitation attempt, because that's why most of true visitation, they're going to walk right up to you. They're going to say, usually starts with I love you or a smile or something. They're going to say something, probably get one sentence in before you freak out and realize they're dead and talk to you, or your emotions take over. And then when your emotions take over, either fear or sadness, you can see them start to cry, or they'll say something scary, or something will happen. That's you creating that. So dreams are really interesting. Okay. Jimbo, 2007. Hi, Jen. Will my knee replacement surgery go smoothly this Thursday? Jimbo. Jesus. Smoothly, yes. Be careful with it. It's going to be a longer recovery. It has something to do with your circulation. If you could do something to help your circulation, it would heal quicker. Jennifer Briscoe, $20. Hi, Jen. Love the exercise. Thank you. You've mentioned I will meet my special someone in 4 months. Was wondering how and what does he look like? Jennifer Briscoe. There's a lot of people around. It might be a sporting event. I don't know if that's your first date. I see like tall chain link fences off to this. I think it's baseball or softball or something. Maybe you have a grandkid that is in that, or a son, daughter. Okay, so he's taller. I think he has he's light skinned, and I think he has lighter hair, but he's kind of like a skinny, but not like tiny skinny. He's like thick armed and thick legged, but not fat. And taller. I can't really see his hair because he has a ball cap on. I think it's medium brown or blonde. And I kind of see the sun shining in the corner of his eyes. They're either green. No, wait a minute. Hazel eyes. Okay. As of today, Scott, 8/14/84. As of today, when is new time for a Florida resort get together? Well, I don't know, Scott. When are you going to put it on? I'm all in for going to Florida, to some resort right now and having a good time. All in. Okay. Weather Joe, hi Joe. I'm awesome show. I'm sure I'll watch it again. Great life lesson. Is there a message that Jesus or the angels have for me in regards to currency exchange or a home to buy? The exchange is going to be easy. Don't worry about it, but take it slow. Don't get all flustered like I have to do everything all at once. I have to buy a house. I have to, just one day at a time is what he's saying. You'll be led in the right direction. Just ask. Hi, Nancy. Oh, she's just saying thank you. Hi, Nancy. You didn't have to send me any money. That's nice. RCR13Q says thank you. Renda75. I recently bought currency. Do you see my RV appointment going well? Yes, but do get on Telegram and do learn a little bit more about it. Ask the people on there. Everybody knows a whole lot on there. If you want to get into my chat group, you can ask to join that. There's Mike Barrett's got a chat group. You know, they're a little more aggro over there. All right. My chat's throwing flowers at people. You might get hit with some rocks if you go over to Mike's chat. I'm just telling you. But yeah, get on Fallawsophy on Telegram. At least follow my channel. If you comment on one of the posts, it'll go straight to the chat group and you'll see people's comments. And if you just ask me, comment on something I post and ask me for the link to join, I'll give it to you. I don't normally put it out because we get a lot of spammers and a lot of haters that way. Right to opinion. Hi, Jen. This is Sharon H. Can you tell me what these light specks zipping around are? Looks like dust in sunlight, but it's not. What is that? I think it's in your vision. I'm not quite sure. Try to get a video of it. Email it to me. But I do think it's your vision. PBSWMO123, $10. Can you tell me when my son Taylor will be moving home for good? He's been working out of state. This is Pam. Love you. Love you too, Pam. Okay. October. Oh, I know why. October. He gives up that job. I think he joins you in doing something. Okay, Montana Treasures again. My mother Mary had a vivid dream if her brother Steve and I thought I did that. Why'd you do that again? Why is that? What just happened there? What just happened there? All right, Lucy, Cindy, my daughter wants to know if Zach P is a good long-term relationship prospect for her. I don't think he's done messing around. I feel like there's other people around that he's talking to. I'm not trying to start anything. I could be wrong, okay? I don't think he's like ready for that kind of commitment. A beautiful soul. Hi, Jen, Linda E here. I was in a hit and run in February. Dash cams don't show the make and model of the car. Is there any way you can see that? No. Wait a minute. Let me see. That's a Susan Gretz thing. She's the one that does missing persons and all that, crime scenes. I'm not seeing it. Probably because I don't want to see you get hurt. But that's the whole reason I don't do crime scenes. And the other thing is that when the direction, like when I see it, sometimes it's a mirror image, like you see on Facebook, or someone posts a picture of themselves they took with their iPhone in the car, and it looks like they're in, the steering wheel's on the wrong side of the car. Baffled by that. Anyway, so that's how I see things sometimes, and I don't know why. And I don't want to send people in the wrong direction. But most of all, I don't want to see the tragedy. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to experience it. Susan's probably a little more tougher than I am with that. I get way too self-involved. take it home with me. Gary Yogi, $10. Jen, Gary Moore here. Does Jesus or my spirit guides have a message for me? Take it one day at a time, Gary. You're too concerned about little things. Your legs are fine. I don't know if you're concerned about like the knees or circulation or something. You're fine. You just need more stretching. You need to get more physical activity. Okay. The night shows are really hard because the cat got stuck in my room, which is next to my office. It's like a little room off of my bedroom. And so the cat wants out. And the dog is laying on the other side of the door in the hallway because they can't stand to be away from me for very long. And it's just wagging its tail and it's hitting the door. The kids came home from work. And they're loud. So if you're hearing that, I apologize. All right. This is Rhonda. At my mom Linda's funeral, my aunt came up to hug me while saying goodbye at the casket. When I turned around, it was my mom's face, even her glasses on my aunt's body. That is a trip. That's the kind of stuff I want to hear about. All right, let's find out what happened there. She was standing in between you. Yeah. So sometimes when you see spirit, especially right after they pass away, they can show up really solid. I mean, at least for the first 6 months. She's basically just standing in between you, facing you. She used her body to hug her. I don't think she used her body, like got into her body to hug you. I don't think it's that. But she was in between both of you. So she must have wanted to be in the middle of the embrace or something. Time and space is different for the soul out of body. That is interesting. That happened. You didn't trip out. That happened. Okay. Shirkona. Hey, Jen. Leah M. here. Do you see me, my family, and animals, dogs, and cats making the move to Kansas City or Oklahoma area safely and smoothly as humanly possible this year? Oklahoma, yes. Wait a minute. Do you see me making them to Kansas City or... Oh, yeah, Oklahoma. Okay. Guys, I think I'm starting to run out of steam here. Renda 75. Do you see my RV appointment going well? I recently bought currency. I thought I did that. I mean, what's happening here? Are they like... Didn't I do that? Yes, it will go okay. Okay, here we go. Yes, it will go okay. Real Trinity Soul. Hi, Jen. Teresa Rist here. My nephew, Jake B., is in complete turmoil with his wife. Can you tell me when he will sell his house and emotionally be through this? This is going to take a while. At least 3 or 4 months still. That part of it's not over. Some things just aren't fixed quickly. Even if you have money. You just gotta walk, you just gotta get it done. But your son doesn't have to let this woman keep him in complete. Yeah, they're gonna act any way they want to act. They're gonna sue you. But they don't have to live in your mind every second of every day. Okay? Do what you gotta do. All right, they're suing me again. All right, let's let the lawyers handle it. We'll do everything we have to do. Get it handled. But you don't have to go home and take it home and it's this hamster wheel of why, oh, how could they do that to me? Why are they do? What do I do next? And what are they thinking? And blah, blah, blah. No, that person's still controlling you, even though you got a divorce. That's how we give permission for people to hurt us more. Okay. Hey, Jen, a few months back, she said I would meet someone new, and I was wondering if you could tell me. Didn't I do that? All right, something's going on. Why are these rumble rants popping up again? I totally did that. Wasn't it the guy at the ball field? And I'm down at the bottom of the list here. All right, last one, guys. Stop with the rumble rants. Annette, you were right about my daughter Kristen today. It was a rough day. Can you tell me who will have temporary custody of granddaughter? I think I remember what story that is. Grandma. I don't know if that's you or the other one, but it's a grandma. Get in there, girl. If you need to get custody, go and do it. It'll be fine. Amber. Okay. No, you didn't do mine. So maybe it's just the same question. Okay, what does he look like for Amber? He's about between 5'9" and 5'11". He has dark hair. Kind of more of a hairy guy, with the arm hair and stuff. Pretty casual. He has a degree, but he dresses pretty casual for work. Possibly of Hispanic descent or mix. That's what he looks like. Okay. Fab Annie 125. My two grown sons have been estranged from me for 10 years. Will they ever come see me again? Yeah. It's going to take some time, though. Probably going to have to bribe them with like trusts and things. I would. That's what I do. I don't go with the kids. I'm ruthless, obviously. Hey, want some money? Let's talk. You know, like, this has gone on long enough. I need your love. I need my babies. Come back to me. I don't care. I was all wrong. Come back. Okay. Jen, Paul L. I get my second stint out tomorrow finishing my kidney stone surgery. I'm so tired of the pain and nausea. If you have time, can you ask Jesus and the angels if there's anything to be concerned about? No, you're just healing. Let me give you a little blast for pain real quick, okay? Let me try that. Just be quiet. We're going to Paul L. Good. You should feel that. There's a delay. You should feel that in a few minutes. All right, I think I'm done. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm done. All right, guys, thank you so much. Remember your exercise. Smash your flag into your territory. Let's get rid of the rocks in the pack. Go ahead and forgive them, but forgive yourself, because that's the most important part of it. If you don't forgive yourself for having the experience, a lot of times people just suffer terribly because they even made the decision to have the relationship or whatever in the first place. Life's a journey, man. What are you going to do? Sit still? Of course you're going to go try. Of course you're going to have experiences. This is how we became who we are. All right? It's beautiful in hindsight when you get home. Let it go. Be free. Everybody should be sitting on their bed before they go to sleep, and you should be saying your prayers. Okay? And pray for your loved ones and ask to be protected in your dreams. You should do that. The dream state is common ground. That's where most people get their damn attachments. All right, so pray for your own protection. I ask Archangel Michael and Gabriel to go with me in my dreams every night. I go in with the team into my dreams. Okay. But you should be sitting on your bed every night. God, send me your light. Imagine it. Come down to the top of your head. Fill your body up till bursting and just say, let this body be clean. That's what God says when he heals somebody. I've seen him do it in meditation. This body is clean. So simple. But just let it sit in you. The longer you sit there with that high vibrational light in, the longer you're becoming your own medbed. Okay? Cleanse away the day. Blast it out 360 through the house and cleanse the house before you sleep. Start getting very used to the movement of this light, because that is creation, and that is the way the soul protects itself. Okay? Okay. Thank you to Marcy and all the admin tonight. Thank you to everybody who did the Rumble Rants and asked the questions, and for being with me. I will see you all Wednesday morning on Real News Live with Mike and Jen on Rumble. And have a great evening.